Here's a bit of information about the SRSS Universal Screener. It's the Social Emotional Risk Screener. It's a universal screener is the systematic assessment of all students within a given class, grade, building, or district on an academic, or as in this case, social emotional indicators that the school personnel and community have agreed are important. The purpose of having a universal screener for behavior is it's integral to the multi-tiered system of support model. It sets the stage for prevention. So its emphasis is on being proactive, prevention versus intervention. It's an evidence-based instrument. It's designed to identify risk factors for emotional and behavior difficulties and social emotional strengths and needs. It's designed to support students' social, emotional, and behavioral needs and reduce distracting behaviors and increase academic impact. Using the SRSS as a universal screener, one positive aspect of it is it doesn't take very long to administer. It's about 20 minutes to complete the process, and all students receive consideration for additional supports using this data. The assessment looks at examples of externalizing behaviors, including physical aggression, verbal aggression, negativity, lying, cheating. All of those are considered to be behaviors that are indicators of externalizing social emotional risk. We also look at examples of internalizing behaviors, being withdrawn, extremely shy, timid, avoiding or withdrawing from social situations, not standing up for oneself. Those are all behaviors that are indicators of internalizing social emotional risk. So during the assessment, each of those indicators are scored on a 4-point Likert type scale. As you can see, they're ranging from a score of 1, that you never see those behaviors, to a score of 4, which of those behaviors do you see frequently? So once we look at those indicators and they are scored, then it's important to note that this data is used to inform instruction and to help us to determine access to interventions. It's not designed for special education eligibility to exclude students from opportunities. It's not a personality test or a mental health assessment. So it's also important to note that the SRSS data is not the only data that's used to identify students in need of Tier 2 or Tier 3 behavior interventions. We also look at discipline referral data, suspensions, parent requests, attendance data. There's a document called Behavior Decision Tree that gives a list of different types of behaviors that are more aligned with either Tier 2 or Tier 3 support. So all of those are considered when determining what students need supplemental or intensive supports. So just a bit about how this assessment is administered. Basically, teachers meet in a lab or other room where they have computer access. There's a short training, and then each teacher has the tool in their Google Drive. They check that everything's included and is ready to go, and then they begin the rating process, rating each student one at a time on that scoring scale. And then there are anchors on the screener to remind the assessor of how to score for each indicator of behavior risk. And if they don't know the student well, for example, if they've been enrolled for fewer than 30 days, then you don't rate the student. Here you see just a screenshot of a data profile sheet. This is just an illustration of a document to use to create a data profile for each student that would include the SRSS data for externalizing and internalizing risk, as well as other scores or other factors to consider to get a complete data profile to make good decisions for students who need additional supports. There's also a problem-solving guide to help take the data from their profile sheet and organize it according to that problem-solving guide to use to help make decisions for what capacity do we have to provide interventions, how does our schedule provide access to that, and how do we want to identify and group students for that type of support. So that's just a quick overview of what is involved in the SRSS assessment. So I hope that it gives you a little bit more of an idea of when we say SRSS screening for behavior, what that looks like, and what's involved.